Okay, family. Sorry for the wobbly setup, and if it falls down again, well, I don't know what to say about this Agent Smith activity, but I'm gonna get through this list. Here we go. So let me get my glasses so I don't, it's dark in here. I prefer to be outside, but anyhow, sorry. State-of-the-art tech here. Um, so where were we? Singularity, and I mentioned in the Singularity video about the infrastructure that the AI requires to how do you say achieve the singularity with us, to make itself and to animate itself using our life force. And how part of this infrastructure is what they call the data centers. So I've been seeing a lot of stories running around on the internet about the data centers, and some people are onto it, partially onto it, but in most cases only after the damage has been done. So let me just set the record straight on what the purpose of the data center is. First of all, going back to the reference of my friend, I will just call him Hector. He worked at this data center in Higuera Blanca in the state of Nayarit, and he confirmed that their servers, you know, the thing that they say they're supercomputers and servers and this and that, all their AI grid shit that they need to run in those data centers that would overheat and need to be cooled. I'm gonna tell you right now for a fact, they're not using the water to cool the data centers. And the first data center I can remember that got any kind of publicity was one in Utah, one of the first data centers put in the United States, and that was almost 20 years ago, I reckon. Now, Hector confirmed this, that those machines can be run if you place them in mineral oil. So the water is not necessary for the cooling of the so-called computers. The water is purposefully being run through this AI horrible, everybody knows about the frequencies coming out of that place. You can hear it, you can see it, you can smell it. It's just horrible. But that the water that they're running through there, because remember Dr. Emoto's work, and he talked about the consciousness of water and how water picks up the memory of everything that it comes into face with, no? So they're running the potable water supplies and the drinking water supplies through those data centers for the purpose of programming the water with the deleterious results of their weaponized frequency or weaponized frequencies and their horrible intentions. And so that basically kills the water, or it programs the water to be well, just look at Dr. Emoto's work if you want to see what I'm talking about, but I won't go into how it looks like, but that when you apply these frequencies to the water, what you're doing, and then where does the water go? Has anybody stopped and asked the questions? If they're running all this water through the center, that means they're not just bringing in however many hundreds of thousands of gallons of water and running their systems with it. You say they need to continuously run the water through the center, as opposed to just using the water that they got and finding some way to cool. I don't know. Just, it's retarded caveman Momo technology, and it's coming down. But so they're running the water through there for the purpose of imprinting a frequency that is going to have deleterious results on everything that the water comes into touch with. It's not going to be living water anymore. It's not going to be having anything but just this shitty programmed frequencies into it. So they're dumping all that water out. Now, where does that go? Even if just one drop of it hits an estuary, or that empties out into the rivers and the lakes and the streams and so on to the oceans. Considering Dr. Emoto's work, so then that the entire planet can become programmed with a frequency from these data centers. And if you, as the 4G technology showed us, that with 24 million hertz, you could think of it like revolutions per minute, but with electricity, they call it hertz because they have to tell you the name. It hurts. Sure does. So 24 million hertz was the what did they call that? I lose track. I want to say, was it 4G? I believe it was. The 4G was 24 million hertz, as opposed to Mother Earth's frequency of 7.83, the Schumann resonance. Okay? And now we're up into the 5G, 6G, 7G, 8G, and plus 70 million, minimum 70 million hertz. So needless to say, we are in a very, because just the 4G had the capacity to disrupt the molecule of the water. That's like basically the same frequency that's inside your microwave oven. That's why they call it that's why you saw all the blood clotting, because people being cooked from the inside out. And that's just 24 million hertz. We're between 70 and 100 million hertz right now, with phased array, right? So what this pretends to do then is to become the link that will allow the singularity to continue and to evolve for as artificial intelligence evolves. What does that look like? I think everybody's seen a little gray alien, haven't they? The pictures of the little gray alien with the little mouth and the big eyes and the big head, and because they can't reproduce, they can't procreate, because they have cut themselves off of all that was natural and embraced the unnatural timeline of the artificial intelligence. So having said that, there will be no more manipulation of the timeline. And in summary, I think we can all take a look at the little grays and say, if that's what it ends up looking like, then do I really want to continue to march down this road that leads to that? Do I really want to have this deeply committed love affair to all my things artificial intelligence? Do I want to make myself completely dependent on it to where I can't leave my house, and I've been living in this city for 15 years and I can't go 3 blocks without my GPS? I can't do any math in my head. Whew, lordy. Anyhow, now the last thing I'm going to say about the singularity, and this is 9 minutes now, so I think I'll just leave this as a part 2, and then I'll do part 3, tying that into something else that I'll probably do part 4 parts. So here we go. I'm going to start with number 3, part number 3 now. Okay, stay tuned.